I'm Rachel.
I'm Joey.
I'm Phoebe.
I'm not doing this.
Come on.
Yeah, this is a shameless, exploitive attempt to get people to watch our show.
Exactly.
Friends, Thursday nights, right here on NBC.
Would you stop? They've got us in our underwear. We're never going to be in our underwear. We're not going to be in our underwear, are we?
Friends, between Mad About You and Seinfeld, Thursdays this fall.
Hey everyone ever, and welcome to 20th Century Pop. It's a bonus episode, which means I don't have to say the tagline. It's not an actual episode. It's sort of like in between weeks. I guess so. I was trying to think, otherwise is this just another episode?
This can be a lot looser. This can be a looser episode.
I don't know if that's going to sound any different. It's just not going to have a number in the title.
Got it.
Looking on iTunes, where none of them do.
So I can talk like before saying my name. That's loose. That's
I think you
different.
are. Yeah,
that's bonus-like.
There's no stopping you, host number 2. Yeah, I'm Tim Blevins.
I'm Bob Canning.
And the past month or so, since the show went bi-weekly, we've been putting up reruns, which is odd. Segments of past shows I thought people would like. But this week we've got a little, it's a bonus episode because it's a follow-up.
Yeah.
It's a follow-up to last week's by the time this airs episode. Last week, you and I were talking. What were we talking on the past?
We were talking in a binge and podcast style episode. We were talking about our favorite and least favorite, or best and worst episodes of Friends from the 90s.
Yeah, we talk about that show a lot, as we recognize there.
Yes.
Do you come back to other shows as much as you come back to Friends when you think about like TV programs, talk with your friends?
Not as much. No, I go back to The Office quite a bit.
Oh, okay. It's a more recent show.
Those are probably the two I go back to the most.
I talk a lot about the X-Files. I talk a lot about the Transformers cartoon, the Gem cartoon. There's cartoons and stuff from childhood. But yeah, I guess for the 90s, it really was 2 shows, which is odd because my favorite show of all time, Dr. Katz, that's from the 90s. My second favorite show of all time, I guess anything but love. Yeah, there's a lot of shows I don't talk about that are actually my favorites. Even Mystery Science Theater 3000, which means the world to me, isn't something I talk about that much. But Friends, the show Friends, which I'm sure the listeners know of, is a hot topic. If I was to go get a t-shirt right now with a picture of Tank Girl on it, I would also go to Hot Topic. But I would have to go circa 1998 or 6, I guess, the year after the movie came out. But for today, since we do talk about Friends so much, and one of the reasons I think it comes up a lot because that show meant a lot to us while it aired. Not saying it doesn't now, but I'm saying like we were the right age for that show. We were a little younger than the characters on the show, but we were living a life that we thought paralleled it, and that we had our apartment together like Joey and Chandler. We had our romantic strife and troubles like Ross or Rachel. I had my neuroses like Monica. I don't know who you related to the most. I would say Chandler, but maybe I'm wrong in that. I don't mean to speak for you.
Please don't.
Okay. Maybe Mr. Heckles. I don't know who it is, but I think it's a show we kept going back to because, and at least for me, and please correct me if you don't feel this way, I felt it was a representation of the life I was living, when in reality it was probably the life I was pursuing, so I adjusted my life to fit it.
Yeah. That's something we've done, or at least talked about quite a bit. Yeah.
What? Kind of like whether or not stuff
whether we were
us
doing
or
or striving for it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so I thought with that in mind, and because we just talked about with this idea of kind of like striving to be the show, wishing the show was our life, I thought we could look at the cast. Friends is a cast of, it's an ensemble of 6 characters. You got your Joey, your Chandler, Ross. You also got a Monica, a Phoebe, and a Rachel. And, they're a circle of friends. And it's interesting to look at, as we saw even last week, how those friendships intertwine. And I was curious for both of us, of those 6 friends, and I don't know if I specified this when we were talking about what we were going to record back then, maybe when the show was on. If this is, I hope, does this change your viewpoint? I was going to say, like,
I see where you're going. Go ahead.
I thought we could look at like which of, if we existed in the world that Friends existed, which of the friends would be a friend of ours, maybe our best friend, and which of them would be difficult to be friends with, or might just not be our good friend.
Sure.
Like in this, if we were part of this friend circle, who would we gravitate to the most?
Yeah.
And who would we probably only see when others brought them over?
Well, thank you for that clarification, because I was coming in with a different idea. So
what was your idea?
It does shift. Well, I just thought it was as a viewer.
Oh,
who were your favorites?
Will this change your ranking? Do you need a little time to repiece it together? Did you just drop your marbles? Did you lose them?
It's totally thrown me. I've lost my marbles here. No, I've been playing with my wedding ring and it just fell off my finger. And now I can't quite see where it is, but I can find it later.
And this metaphor-laden episode of 20th Century Pop is brought to you by Things and Rings. The wedding ring rental because you're not sure.
No, but it does. It does change my my ranking.
Can you do it? Do you need a little time?
Yeah, I think I can do it. I mean, we're just doing friend that you would be most friends with and friend that you'd be the least friends with, right? It's just two? Or
Yes,
are we actually
that's a
ranking?
more streamlined way of saying the 7 minutes that I said. Yes.
No. I just wanted to clarify because I did have I guess I had a misunderstanding coming into it.
I don't think I explained it very well.
Well, then I understood it as well as you had told it to me.
Well, as a viewer, who's your favorite friend?
Chandler.
And your least favorite?
Rachel.
Okay, so you did it. But let's go into if we were friends with these people.
If we were,
if
lived in this world,
and kind of, who of these friends would be your friend in real life? Who would be your best friend in the circle of friends in real life?
All right, you're asking me that now. You want my answer? My best friend?
Do you want me to go first?
No. I can.
Yeah,
I can answer
is
this.
That's exactly what I asked you. Which of these would be your best friend?
I think the one I would be friends with most is Monica.
Really?
Yes.
Who is, if I was to do this as a viewer, is my favorite friend.
Okay.
Why Monica? Why is she your best friend from Friends? Lucky bastard.
I think if I lived in that world, I think we would get along really well. Monica is logical. Monica is organized. Monica is committed to things, whether it's her job or her friends or her plans, whatever she wants to do. She has a regiment. She's got a plan. She is ready to do it. And that is something that I like about people I know. I'm not a big fan of, like, I couldn't be friends with Phoebe because she's too off the wall. I wouldn't know what to expect. I don't think I could be friends. Would you talk
to her in the friend circle, like if you were hanging out, like, because Monica, on the basis of the show, Monica was originally the centerpiece because it was her apartment. She's siblings with Ross, so that brings him in. She used to be roommates with Phoebe, so that brought her in. Rachel's her friend from school, so that brought her in. She lives across the hall from Joey, so her apartment's more conducive to having guests, so that brings Joey and eventually Chandler in. She kind of throws the party. And so if she was throwing the party and Phoebe was there, would you not interact with her? Would you not have a way of communicating with her?
Oh, I'm sure I would find a way to communicate with her if that's the circle we're interacting with. Sure. But I wouldn't ever really be her best friend. I wouldn't call her after the party to hang out.
But Monica, you would. Do you think you would have gotten in with Monica? Do you think you would only be there when everybody was there? Or do you think you and her would hang out one-on-one?
Oh, we would hang out one-on-one. Yeah, we would definitely. Yeah.
Would you go out, or would it be at her place?
It'd be at her place. We would go to things. We would go.
Would
to
you get there
theater
before
together.
everybody else got there, just so you could have some time to hang out?
Sure
with her
would.
alone?
Yeah.
Would you help her set stuff up?
That's
do you
what
think
I'd
you'd
be
invite
doing.
her to your house and have people over to your house, or would you rely on her for her space?
I would probably be in this world. I'm still myself, so
You're Bob Canning.
Yeah, so I would probably rely on her.
Well, that's a fair answer.
Yeah, I would probably want to, like I said, I'd hang out with her alone, but I wouldn't have the whole group over. I wouldn't host the whole group.
Now, if you were hanging out as a group, all of you at Monica's house, would you be jealous if she was talking more to, say, Chandler? Would you be jealous that she had the family bond with Ross? Or would you kind of feel like, oh, her and I are the best, and this is her party, but I've got my in?
Yeah, no, I don't think I would be jealous.
No?
No.
Would you bring other people to hang out there when she invited you?
Yeah, I think I would. I'd clear that with her first, but yeah, I think I would.
Would you bring other friends, or would you only bring relationship people by dates?
Both. Sure.
You'd bring both.
I'd want to make sure that my dates got the Monica approval.
Would you do that with the rest of the friends there to get all of their approval?
No.
Just Monica.
Just Monica.
There's a honing in on that.
Yeah.
Would you bring
Monica
me by?
we would be best friends. Monica
You and
I.
Monica would be best friends.
Yeah.
Would you bring
Or at
me
least
by
I would
to
think
her
that.
house?
She might not think that, but I would think that Monica is my best female friend in that group.
I feel like you're avoiding telling me if you would bring me to the house. You wouldn't bring me by, would you?
No,
wouldn't
yeah.
go with you.
I'd absolutely bring you by. I'd introduce you to
Really?
Chandler. I think you'd like him.
Okay, but not so much this Chandler character, but not so much Monica, because Monica is my favorite as a viewer. But
Yeah.
I don't know. Yeah, I don't think she would be my best friend.
Who
of
would
the
be your
friends,
best
which
friend?
is too bad because maybe because her and I are very close.
If
I think
you
in
took
some
over
personality
Mr.
traits.
Heckle's apartment
Ugh.
and got to know them,
Well, I would try to keep it down for them first off.
good. Who would be your best friend if it's not Monica?
Well, and this is back then. I think this is of the age 20s when
Sure.
that show was on. I think of the 6 friends that are there. The one that I would be closest friends with is Chandler.
Yeah.
I think Chandler Bing is who I'd be most closest to. And I guess I kind of had that through my friendship with you in a way, which is kind of what I'm based. I think there's a buddy rapport that I would have with him. I think, because, I see how he hangs out. Like, I couldn't be friends with Joey. I think I wouldn't get to know Joey beyond like, oh, he's too handsome and why is he here? Like, I would look at him as, I'd probably enjoy bantering with him, and I would do the Chandler stuff of being like pointing out how I'm not him, how I'm not cool, I'm not attractive, all these things. But I don't know what he and I, plus I'm not into sports, I'm not into sandwiches, I don't know what we would have in common. So, but in that setup, like how Chandler is in that apartment, like I would like to watch a movie with Chandler. I'd like to have someone to bounce some quips off of with, I think video games with Chandler might be fun.
Sure would.
I definitely wouldn't feel threatened by Chandler.
Would you watch Baywatch with him?
I don't know. I never liked that show.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess if you put it on, I'd be making fun of it. I don't think I wouldn't want to share sexual entertainment with him.
Got it.
Since I feel like he watched that to get turned on by the slow-mo boobs bouncing up
Exactly.
and down, and I don't think I would do that. But I don't know. I think he's fun to hang out with, and I think back then that's what I did. I hung out with people who I could banter with. Maybe we'd be a little too similar in that sense, but I feel like I would enjoy going places with him. I'd enjoy sitting at the coffee table and making jokes with him.
Yeah.
But I think that would change drastically once he and Monica, your friend, got together, because once they were a couple, I don't think I'd like him anymore. I realized when I was thinking about this, I'm like, back then I didn't care to hang out with couples. Not if there were couples where I liked both halves. I never wanted to do that. If it was a couple where I was into one of them and didn't like who they were with, yeah, I'd totally be there, because I'd be wanting to show them how good I am a friend for this person, or how close I am to this person, and being the schism.
Does that change if you're in a relationship? If you're coupled, or is it when you're single only?
Back then, we're talking back then,
Okay.
I really wasn't in a lot of relationships.
Okay.
I would hook up with people. I would have what I thought were relationships, and there was all this drama. But I still didn't like being with couples. I never did. I'm not sure how I feel about it now, but I never enjoyed being there with two people who were getting along like that. I could be a third wheel, and I guess I would be sometimes, but there would always be someone I'd be focusing on. And I think when Chandler was with Monica, he would lose a little bit of that self-deprecating humor. I think he would want to be with her more than me. That's the thing. Like back then, I had a hard time hanging out with people who wanted to hang out with someone more than me. And when it's a couple, you're the third wheel, that's difficult to be. That, like I look at that group sometimes, I think, wow, Phoebe is the outsider. She's consistently the third wheel of these 6 friends in a way, because she just doesn't kind of fit in kind of thing. And I would hate to be that person. And she's not my least favorite friend. I'm just saying, like, that standing of kind of like, I don't want to see two people happy back then.
Sure.
I want to be able to be selfish, indulgent, witty, comical, and fun to watch. And I don't think a couple wants to watch a single friend banter about how lonely he is. Maybe they do. And if they did that might perk my interest. Let's say Monica and Chandler were into that. But then I wouldn't want to be helped by them. Yeah. Plus, as I already said, as a viewer, Monica's my favorite, so I probably would have a little crush on her. Sure. And I would not know how to balance a good friend of mine and the person he's with if I had a crush on her. So I would probably stop hanging out with him once he started spending more time with Monica. But yeah, I think he would have been my best friend.
Are we also going to point out our least favorite or the least likely
We
friend
are. That dead
we would
space
say?
was because I had said everything I could about this. I didn't know what was happening. But yeah, I think we should point out who wouldn't we have been friends with.
Yeah, because I mentioned, I don't think I'd hang out with Phoebe, but as
Yeah.
I'm sitting here thinking about it, I also don't think I'd really want to be friends with Ross.
No?
I don't
My
think I-
least favorite character, Ross?
Yeah, I don't think I would end up hanging out. I'd hear so much about his life. I could picture being in those settings and hearing about his divorce and his kid and all that, and just be like, you know what? Especially at that time, I'd be like, yeah, I'm going to go hang out over here.
Now, is that because those two things are things you had no point of reference for back then? You
At
weren't
that time,
married
yeah,
and you didn't have
that's
kids?
really would be it. That'd
Yeah.
really be it.
I mean, I hate hearing people talk about things I don't have a point of reference to.
Yeah.
Like even now, I don't ask people much about their kids because I can't relate to it. That's a holdover from back then. By the way, your kids are great from what I've heard.
Yeah, you're, half right.
Not from what I've heard today during the recording. But no, I think that's a good point. I think he's very selfish in a way that I wouldn't be able to partake in.
Yeah.
But, What about
Is it-
Joey?
Joey, I think I'd get along with Joey.
Really?
I'd live vicariously through Joey.
You would? You had
little
someone who
bit.
you wouldn't resent someone who's living vicariously means they're doing something you want to do, so you let that be your version of doing it. You
Well,
wouldn't
not
resent
necessarily
him?
something that I want to do, but it's nice
Someone?
to hear the
Someone
stories.
that you wanna do?
Someone, sure. But, it might be nice to hear the stories. It's like, hey, I would never do that. I would never have that luck or confidence to hook up as often as Joey has infamously done.
You want
but
to hear about
certainly-
people's dating when it goes well?
I'd want to, yeah. I mean, again,
Really?
we're just friends hanging out. If he has
Yeah,
a story
those-
to tell about some awesome date
Oh,
that
fuck
ended,
that. I don't wanna hear
ended 2
that.
days later, I'd listen to it. I'd joke
But
about
from his
it. I'd
vantage
make
point,
my
that's a
comments.
good date. Really? The joking part I get, but I wouldn't want to hear that. I don't want to hear. I wouldn't back then. I
think
wouldn't have
I'd-
wanted to hear
I'd-
people doing well in something I'm not doing well.
I think I wouldn't mind hearing it from Joey. Joey's a nice guy.
post
Yeah.
first season Joey or first season Joey.
Post first
Joey in a
season
vest. Okay, it's Joey
Post
not in a
first
vest. Joey in a turtleneck,
Yeah.
perhaps.
Joey with no bangs. No bangs, Joey.
That's good. Dumber Joey, unfortunately, he got dumbed down. I know I like Joey as a character, but again, I don't think, and I guess this will segue into it's similar to who I would be least friends with, because I don't know how I would get in a friend circle with Joey the way that, I don't think I would get to know him the way that I know him as a viewer, because I'm not in that situation. Because I think in public, outside of the circle of friends, he's a ladies' man, and I don't have interest in that. The friend who I think I'd be least likely to be friends with back then, back in the 90s, that I came up with was Rachel.
Yeah, that's not surprising to me.
Rachel Green. And unless, in fact, yeah, even if this was the case, like I guess I would have gotten to know her. The only way I would have gotten to know her was if we worked at the same coffee shop.
I was just going to say that's what
Yeah.
you do, and I think as you got to know her, you would like her less and less.
But she's a horrible employee at the coffee shop, so
Yeah.
I would constantly be fixing issues, catching up, or being annoyed that she's taking all these breaks with these friends and just sitting there. So there would be this hard to hide spite
Exactly.
that would make it difficult to. I would have been very annoyed, and we would end up being friendly at work, but I would never see her outside of work. And if we didn't work together, I would never see her at all because I don't know the circle she walks in. You know, none of those friends would have been friends with her if it wasn't for Monica. You know, when she came to find Monica in that pilot episode, all these people were already in, and you know, like you said, she throws the parties there in orbit around her. So that's how they met her. And they got to know her and they got to know Rachel, and that's great. But even Ross, he had a high school crush. He wouldn't have gone after to find her again.
No, he had no sense of her ever being a part of his life again.
Yeah, so I mean, and she's a good character. You know, I like the arc she has on the show and who she becomes, but I wouldn't have been privy to that as a real person there. I would have just viewed her as spoiled. I would have thought she's attractive. Everyone's going after her. And yeah, I would have been standoffish. I would have felt a victory if I made her laugh, if I made a joke that she laughed at.
But
And
she
then I
wouldn't
would have
laugh
felt
at a
like-
lot of your jokes, Tim. I don't think she would have gotten them.
I don't think a lot of people
She
do
wouldn't have
laugh
known the
at them.
reference.
Oh, that's possible. I mean, she knows a few cartoons, I imagine. But no, I mean, what about you? Do you think, did you already say, like, you and Rachel as friends through Monica? She's Monica's
we'd be
best
friends
friend.
through Monica. I think we'd get along just fine.
Yeah?
But yeah, it's really Ross that I just wouldn't connect with. Like even Phoebe, I would probably still be able to talk to Phoebe. And again, like you're saying, make her laugh. I mean, that's the thing. That's probably why I have more female friends than I have male friends, and I think I just get along with them better. I think.
But do you have more
can make
close
them
female friends?
laugh easier. I don't have any close friends. I have you, and then my wife. But beyond that, I don't have any really close friends.
So one of each gender that the society currently dictates as two genders.
But then if you look at me at work, if I'm gonna like
Gladly, let's see that photo.
if I'm gonna be in a meeting and I have to sit next to somebody, I'm gonna sit next to female coworkers because I just get along with them better.
So socially, you get along.
Yeah, socially, I just get along better with women. Men, I always feel like. What do I feel like with men? I always feel
Say always, or just you want people to think you always feel this way, so you can be with more women.
No, I do with men. I always feel, I don't want to say inadequate, but in some ways I do. Like yesterday,
do you view me as a man? Do you look at our friendship and think that I'm a guy?
Yes.
Okay.
But most of the other men that I interact with aren't writers or creative types. I always find myself.
I did write the show notes for this episode when it goes up.
No, but you know, you have a creative background. We have this podcast. There's
You're
creativity.
in California. Aren't you
thought.
surrounded with people who claim to have creative backgrounds?
In fact, I am not. I'm surrounded more with administrators and management types, executives, and so.
But what about back then? What about in college?
Well, in college, I think I had equal number of men friends and women friends, although I still would gravitate more towards women friends because I...
That's what I'm looking for. You would still gravitate towards...
Sure, because I have a better chance of sleeping with them than I would the men friends.
Do you ever think you had a better chance of sleeping with them than, say, your roommate? Like drunkenly, accidentally? Not even sexually, just, oh, this is your bed, that kind of thing. You did. Okay, just checking. Just asking. No, I'm clicking with something in the sense I get gravitating towards female friends. Do you think that's always, like, I think it's sincere now. I hope it's sincere now. But do you think that was coming out of something insincere back then? Or it's not insincere, soming sexually driven? Do you think you did that
sexually
because
driven, for sure.
you wanted, okay. So you were pursuing, you'd rather be with people who you could ask out in a fantasy.
Yes. But because that's just where my mind was, and not in like a sex drive.
Exactly
kind of
what
way.
we're talking about.
Yeah, but it's not like a sex drive, like I needed it or anything like that.
Well,
But
what
it's
was
like
it
if I'm
then?
going to put in effort to socialize at all, why not do it with the gender that I have a desire to hook up with?
Sexual desire.
Yeah.
Sexual. Something
Sexual.
sexually driven. So a drive
Yes,
of
sir.
sex, sexual drive.
Okay,
Is
so
why
I guess it
you
is a
would
drive.
gravitate towards women.
Yeah.
That's not necessarily a bad thing. If
But
you
also,
were,
no. But also, I just felt less threatened by women.
Really? Even though you
Yep.
were sexually driven to them.
Yep, but
Sexually.
so there's that, but it's also like I always felt like all the other I don't have a lot of confidence now, and I certainly didn't have a lot then, and I felt like all the other men were the Joeys, and I was the Chandler, I guess.
What about Ross though? You said you didn't like Ross. Do you feel like if
Ross
you
was
and
too
Ross
grown
were
up.
if you and Ross were in a room, would you feel like they're going to talk to me, not Ross?
At that time, at that age, yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, I would think so.
I bet I would feel that too. I think with Joey, I would know it was not a reality that they would rather talk to me, but in my head, it'd be like if they knew me, they would like me better, which isn't always true. It's not giving Joey space to be. Well, with Ross, I feel like I would make my most jokes at Ross's expense because, like you said, he represents aspects of the world I resent at the time.
Yeah.
A job, savings, and a child.
Right.
Now, do you think it would be easier for you to talk to Phoebe or easier for you to talk to Ross back then? Because it sounds like those are the two you'd probably least likely interact with. One because you don't like them, and the other because she's kind of. Am I right, or am I using my reason?
No, you're right. Yeah, those are the least two I would gravitate towards and want to hang out with.
Who would be easier to talk to?
I think between those two, I think it'd be easier for me to talk to Ross.
Right?
Yeah.
I feel the same, because Phoebe would intimidate me. I had friends who, while weren't necessarily Phoebe, I could see, okay, here's why I would equate them with Phoebe. And it was always a victory when I found out, oh, they will talk to me? Oh, we are hanging out? And it was always something where it's like there'd be a night where suddenly I hung out with a bunch of people and the other people wandered off, and I had a moment to talk to this person who's like Phoebe, and we would be friends, and they would laugh at my jokes, and they would actually talk to me, and we'd hang out, and it seemed like we were actual friends, but I would never fully trust it with Phoebe. I'd always be like, this could teeter. Make sure you make the best of it. Make sure you're really throwing yourself into showing how much you're casual friends. So I get that. I think the Rosses in my life, and I think there were plenty of them, they were people who had jobs that were paying well. They were people who would talk about their jobs, and their job wasn't at a coffee shop. With those peoples, I resented them. And I was going to say secretly, but I think it came out. I think I felt better about myself. I would puff myself up, and I would pretend they didn't think what I did mattered, even though they might have. And I think I would be like, well, they're sellouts. I would deem Ross a sellout. He's not artistic like me. But Rachel would just be unapproachable. Right.
Yes. Totally. And then when you had that moment with her, you would make the awkward comment. Again, I think I would make the awkward comment that I thought was very funny in my head, and she would look at me like she has no idea what I'm talking about.
Yeah, I think I would just either get a laugh from her, or I would just not
Polite
be myself.
Laugh.
Polite laugh. Or I would resent her if we were coworkers. Which just kind of leaves, I don't know exactly how I'd interact with Monica. Because again, she's my favorite as a character, as a viewer. But in real life, like as a character, I like her neuroses because I relate to them. I don't know. I like her competitiveness in the first couple seasons. I don't like the character she became when her voice got a higher octave and when she started dating Chandler. But those first couple seasons, because she was the one that the world revolved around, because she threw the parties, because I felt like she was the one that got dumped on the most by all of her friends, I enjoyed that. And I think I would, if I was to be friends with her, it would be that kind of friendship where I'm like, I'm her best friend, would be in my head.
Yeah.
I would, I was asking you, but I think I would want to get to her house before things started, or hang out afterwards and help her clean up. Or when stuff was going wrong, I'd want to be the one she vocally volleyed with about it. Like I would force myself into being part of these things she threw, even though I was just invited. Like in my head somewhere, there would be this idea of like, well, of course I'll be there. I'm always there. But these people coming in, who are these people? Oh, there's going to be trouble.
So are you saying that? Are you saying she's, as we've been talking about this, she's become a better friend than Chandler?
No, because I think the Chandler friendship would be a little more sincere.
I see.
I don't know if it's gender based. I don't know, because at that point in my life, I drew a line between. I mean, I was attracted to the men and male friends, but I think I just drew the line where it's like, well, that's not. Things got messy with me when I was attracted to a female friend, because my mind played all those games we've talked about before. Where secretly, like, I could be dating her, even though I never asked her out, and I would act that way. And the version I did that with male friends was just as possessive, but I think because I hadn't experimented with the idea of dating to see if I would date a guy, and if I wanted to, that part wasn't there. It was the same actions, the same jealousy, but it played differently.
Right.
So I don't think I would be I think I would be a closer friend with Chandler because of that similarity. And eventually it would end when he started dating Monica. But yeah, with that, no, I don't. I would hope that I could be close friends, but we're talking who I was in my 20s. What would get in the way would be that thing where it's like, I would, as much as I admire her as a sitcom character, in my head, I'm her sitcom friend. I'm the one that eventually I'm her Chandler. She'll eventually end up with me. I think that would be weird, and it would be hard to be close friends with her. Because when I think of my close female friends from that era, most of them, somewhere in my head was this idea of, oh, they like me more than anyone else. And, oh, what if we dated? And that was always there. And that's incredibly unhealthy. And there are plenty of past episodes that deal with that. And I feel like she's a good template for that. Maybe that's why I like her so much as a character, because I have that safe distance. She's a fictional character. That's why she's my favorite. Yeah, she's the one I'd want to be closest friends with. But I don't think I would be.
Wouldn't happen.
I think it would be Chandler.
All right.
Is anyone we left out for you? Any standing? Any of these friends?
No, I don't think so. I think we covered everybody. Best, worst, and in between.
Yeah. So we wouldn't be competing for anyone's attention. I guess if you were really close with Monica, I would probably talk to you about it, how I liked her.
Yeah.
But then that would get weird because then I would know that you knew that.
And then you'd be jealous of me hanging out with her all the time.
Maybe that would be there, but also I'd be like, now you're watching my every behavior with her, and now I don't feel as sincere. And did you tell her? Would be my other question. Well, that was maybe interesting. Wrapping up real quick.
I thought it was an interesting thought experiment, and I'm kind of glad that I got thrown into it and came into it thinking one thing and being presented with something else, because it made me just have a gut reaction to all of it, and I think that worked.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
Which captain from Wings would you rather be flying your plane?
The tall one.
Did he have a leather jacket?
I think he did.
Okay, so it sounds like it's not the guy who voices Superman sometimes.
I guess not.
That's your bonus episode, people. That's what you get when we don't prepare. Please come back. Come back next week. 20popcast.com is our website. That's what? Yeah, 20popcast.com is our website. Always episodes up there. You can subscribe to us. All the things we normally do to promote ourselves. Follow us on Instagram at 20popcast. Follow us on Twitter at 20popcast. Bob, do you want them to follow you?
Sure, at RH Canning.
That's on Twitter and Instagram.
Throw us a new bonus.
Throw us a new bonus.
I was going to say, I'm at a loss for words. What the fuck? Topic. A bonus topic. We could do these bonus episodes.
It feels like an episode, but it's a bonus episode.
We can do them all. Whatever you want.
And that's our new character, Bob.
Hey, how's it going?
We'll be back next week.
What's up, everybody? It's Bob.
Oh, no, we're still here.
No, yeah, next week. Sorry.
I really hope that character comes back to a different show. Not saying one of our shows, but a show.